Good evening friends, and welcome to this session to discuss what should be the new priorities for us. Once now that UPSC has brought back the railway services options, let us take a relook at what should be the preference order. There will not be a very major change. There won't be any major change in terms of the preferences. But yes, we need to look at whether the IRMS technical service of the specific branch or IRMS stores should be preferred for a particular discipline. And then of course there can be a little bit of personal preference, particularly for civil engineering options. Like some of you might prefer CES roads, or some of you might prefer CES, which is CPWD. Let's take a look at it, but before that I thought let me just bring over get the notification once again for you, the instructions, just a summary of instructions. Read the instructions carefully. That's very important. That's very important for you to, before you start filling up the form. Some of you have already filled up the form. So there will be a question, can I make the changes in the form? I'm going to be addressing that also. Like once we have covered the branch preferences, then we'll go over to take a look at some of the FAQs which you might be having and which must be really disturbing you and making you spend some sleepless nights. Let's take a look at one by one. There is one more thing that you have to keep in mind. A lot of students are writing, sir, can I fill up the form once again? That is another question which we are going to be addressing, right? So I think I'll just quickly run through this without spending any time on this. The instructions that you need to take a look at, some of the careful options, some of the options that you have to be very careful, particularly for those who are filling up the form for the first time. There is a limit of 300 KB for the photograph and the signature, right? And then there is another limit, 20 KB is for photograph and signature, right? They have asked for one more major change this year, and that major change is that the photograph which you are uploading, that must have the date of the photograph, and your photograph should not be more than 2 weeks or 3 weeks old. This is another important change that has been brought in this year's form filling instructions, right? So, and you must keep number of copies of that particular photograph with you in case you are required to submit printout or anything of that sort, because that is the photograph which is going to be required to be submitted again and again whenever it is asked for, right? 10th class certificate or the matriculation certificate is mandatory because that is the only accepted proof of the date of birth. No other change, no other proof of date of birth is going to be accepted, right? This is something about which you are already familiar. Photo ID, photo identity card, at least one of the given photo identity cards must be readily available with you in the scanned form. And what are the valid photo ID cards? Aadhaar card is there, voter ID card is there, PAN card is there, passport is there, driving license, or any photo identity card issued by the central or state government in case you are working, right? And these details will be required to be provided by the candidate while filling up the online application form, all right? The dates, obviously earlier it was from 18th September till 8th of October. They have got modified. Now it is 18th of October and we are going till 22nd of November, right? And then there is a 1 week window available for carrying out any corrections. But remember one thing, the corrections cannot be carried out in the OTR part. You can't carry out changes in the OTR part more than once. If you already exercise the option of making a correction or change in the OTR, then obviously you will not be able to make any further corrections in the OTR, all right? Avoid multiple applications. Now this was one thing that you must keep in mind. Prefer to submit only one application, right? We'll come back to this once again when I'm going for the discussion related to FAQs. Point number 11 is again a very important point, because at times what may happen is that there is a mail that has been sent by UPSC to you, and it's an important mail and it lands up in your spam folder. Any mails with the extension nic.in, you must make sure that there is a filter which accepts these mail IDs to go into your inbox. Otherwise, develop the habit of keeping your spam folder clean and checking it on a very regular basis. We receive mails from students who say that, sir, I had received a mail from GATE about some correction to be made. It was sent to me on the 8th of October. I saw it only now. What should I do? There is a problem. There is a problem because the mail went to his spam folder and he never bothered to check the spam folder. Develop it as a habit. Develop it as a habit. It can really be very positive for you. All right. Now let's come to the main purpose of discussion today. What should be the priority? What should be the preferred sequence in which we should be keeping the service options? Starting with civil engineering. Now what I have done is that in the previous session which had been conducted by B. Singh sir, he had given a list of suggestive sequences like CS, which is CPWD equivalent, first choice, and CS roads was second choice, but these two are interchangeable. And likewise IDSE, which is a similar, which is another name for MES, and Central Water Engineering Services was interchangeable as option 3 and option 4, right. But now that we have option 9 and option 10, which are IRMS Civil, that is the technical branch for civil engineering students, and IRMS Stores for civil engineering candidates, right. Where should we be placing them? Where should we be placing them? Believe me, there will not be a very major reshuffle that you have to do. Now you just take a look at the revised sequence. This was old, this is new, right. Here all I have done is I have just added one more thing. Right. Here earlier we had CS, which is CPWD, is option 1 or option 2, but now the top option for majority of the students would be IRMS Civil, barring exceptions as I have already stated in the beginning, in which case you might want to come out with CPWD as your preferred choice, but that is more by exception and less by rule. So if you want to go for what is the major rule applicable here, definitely IRMS Civil will be the top choice, followed by IRMS Stores for civil engineering. But here you can have CS Civil also as an alternative. You can interchange between IRMS Stores and CS Civil, right. Same way, if you look at the first two options here, that is CS Civil and CS Roads, once again they can be interchanged. Now in fact I should add a 4 also here, right. IRMS Stores Civil, CS Civil and CS Roads Group A, they can be interchangeable, kept at option 2, option 3 and option 4. It is a matter of personal preferences at times, because some of you may be keen on working in CPWD related projects. So definitely that is why you will opt for option 2 and not give CS IRMS Stores Civil option as option 2, right. The rest of the options remain unchanged. The rest of the options just remain unchanged. All I have done is I have just added 2 to the rest of the options. Like for example, Survey of India Group A service was at preference number 6 earlier, now it is preference number 8. Border roads was at 7 or 8, and the earlier 8 option, the earlier preference 8, that was AWE quantity surveyor, which was at option 8, they were interchangeable, like BRO and quantity surveyor, they can be interchangeably kept at 7 and 8, but now they become 9 and 10. Same way IDSC and option 3, which was CES water, CWES water, we have already talked about at 3 and 4 or 4 and 3, which now become 6 and 5 or 5 and 6. All right. Skills Development Corporation, Skills Development Service, which was earlier option 5, now becomes option 7, and then the rest of them obviously we have taken care. So clearly the top 4 options, if you were to look at the top 4 options for civil, let's not talk for the time being the sequence. One is IRMS civil, second is IRMS civil stores, third is CES, fourth is CES roads. Now here, out of these 4, railway stores would typically be at either second option or third option or fourth option, but railways by and large will be the top choice for all the students. All right. Moving to the preferences for mechanical engineering students, this was the list which was pre IRMS introduction. Option 1 and 2 were between IDSC and CPES for mechanical engineering posts. Option 3 was Skills Development Corporation and 4 Skill Development Service, and option 4 was the Naval Material Management Service. See, the advantage of Naval Material Management Service for each of the 3 branches, that is mechanical, electrical and electronics, is that you actually get posted to the regional headquarters of naval services, because this is the material procurement division, right. Now once that these 2 new services at serial number 8 and 9 have been added, that is IRMS mechanical and IRMS mechanical stores, with this addition by and large we are just adding 2. Say for example IDSC, which was option 2 or option 1, preference 2 or preference 1, has become preference 4 or preference 3. IRMS mechanical and IRMS stores can be interchangeable at 1 and 2, because for mechanical engineers IRMS stores is as preferred as IRMS mechanical. Obviously the difference is that when you talk about IRMS stores, you have the responsibility for procurement of mechanical engineering related equipments, and obviously when you talk about IRMS mechanical, then you are on the field at the various project sites, and that is what would be your major responsibility there. The rest of the choices do not have any change whatsoever. The only change that has been carried out is we have just simply added 2, right. So if you have now got a total of 9 options, you can have 1 and 2 depending on your personal preferences, IRMS mechanical or IRMS mechanical stores. Both are equally good and both involve technical knowledge, but the advantage which you may get in case of materials, in case of stores, is that you are likely to be more office based rather than be field based. All right. The total number of posts which are there for IRMS stores of all the 4 branches are equally divided in the 4 streams, that is electrical, mechanical, civil and signals and telecom, right. For electrical, earlier we had 8 services options, with the top choice being CPES, Central Power Engineering Services Group A. Now we have the addition of railway, IRMS electrical and IRMS stores for electrical posts. The change is that the first choice and the second choice in this case will be railways electrical, IRMS electrical and IRMS stores electrical. Now in this case generally the students prefer to go for IRMS electrical, right, and the second choice is electrical stores. The rest of the preferences we are not making any suggestions with regard to any changes. So that is what you would, that is why you would have noticed that all that has been done in the earlier 8 services options, all that has been done is simply a 2 has been added, so that if you want you can take the service preferences in numerical sequence also as given in the last column, exactly the way it has been given in the last column, right. Electronics and telecom earlier had 9 options, 9 services. But now with the addition of IRMS Signal and Telecom and IRMS Stores Signal and Telecom Engineering Post, we have a total of 11 options. Here again, just like in case of mechanical, IRMS Stores and IRMS Mechanical, in this case also IRMS Signal and Telecom and IRMS Signal and Telecom Stores options are interchangeable, because there are some people who have preferred stores over the IRMS Signal and Telecom and vice versa, right. The rest of the choices, the rest of the preferences remain unchanged, exactly the same sequence which Bising sir had suggested in the session that he had taken in the previous week. So go by that, and the new sequences, the new revised sequences, railway, IRMS Signal and Telecom and IRMS Stores Signal and Telecom are interchangeable at 1 and 2. IRMS Signal and Telecom and IRMS Stores Signal and Telecom posts are interchangeable at 1 and 2, right. And the rest of the choices, there is absolutely no change in terms of the preferred order, all right. So this was one major input that we wanted to share today. Let me just take a look at some of the questions that have been posted in the chat box, and I will try to answer some of those questions. Okay, there are questions related to modification of OTR. I am going to be talking about it. Photo has a date of 28/9 in accordance. That it can suffice, because change is primarily to cater to the needs of the new applicants and not to the needs of the old applicants who have already put in their application. So in your case, you need not have a new photograph uploaded, all right. Some of the frequently asked questions. Lot of students have been posting these questions. So we thought that let us try to answer the questions which have been asked by a vast majority of students, so that you are able to take a proper decision with regard to the options that you may have to exercise. The first and foremost, this is the biggest question that for which we have received numerous messages and mails. Sir, can we change the category? Can we change the category? The answer is yes, we can change the category. As a matter of fact, during the day, I spoke to some of the candidate who was wanting to make the change in the category, and there is a provision to change the category from general to OBC NCL or any other change. The reason why this change is permitted, is because this information does not form a part of the OTR. This information does not form a part of the OTR. You have to keep one thing in mind, and that is something which is applicable uniformly. The information which is there in the OTR, that is not possible to be modified more than once. Once you have exercised the choice of making a change, making a correction in the OTR information, you cannot make any further changes. But category is not a part of OTR. Therefore, you are permitted to make a change in the category, all right. The only thing is that you must have a valid category certificate which supports your claim for reservation in the specified category, okay. The second question, is it mandatory to upload the undertaking and declaration for EWS candidate or OBC NCL candidate? The answer is yes, it is mandatory to upload these two documents. However, it has been noticed in the past that in case any of the documents is defective, they will give you one opportunity, because when the scrutiny is going on by UPSC after the submission has been done, they give you an opportunity to make a correction. Rather than making a correction, they will ask you to submit the document which will support the claim for taking that particular reservation. And in case you fail to provide that supporting document, In that case, you will not be eligible to claim the reservation against that particular category. The format is available. The format is available on the UPSC website. You just take a careful look at the UPSC website and it is available for every option. For each of the categories it is available. You just have to look at it on the UPSC website. The next question, in fact, question 3 and 4 are with regard to the format of declaration for OBC NCL and the format of declaration of EWS. As I have said, both these formats are available on the UPSC website. There is a tab which says the formats on the UPSC website. You can just download those formats from there and use it for filling up. After filling up and putting your signature, just scan it and keep it ready for uploading at the required place. There is one more question which comes with regard to the EWS format, the declaration format. Sir, what should be the roll number that should be put? See, strictly speaking, roll number is something which used to be put after the form had been accepted and you are given the roll number. But this year, because there is a change in the process adopted by UPSC, therefore, instead of roll number, you can either write OTR number, or even if you write NA, it will not get rejected. The reason is that roll number is not available with you, and therefore, either you write NA or you can write OTR, which will be subject to making correction by hand when you go for the physical verification of the documents at the time of your personality test. This is applicable for the category certificates uniformly without any variation, right. The next, this is again something which has been causing trouble to lot of candidates. UPSC is very strict. UPSC is very strict with regard to the time period during which the certificate should have been issued. Whether it is the EWS certificate or it is the OBC NCL certificate, the date of issue of these two certificates must be from 1/4/24 up to the last date of application, the revised last date of application being 22nd of November 2024. I repeat, EWS certificate and or your OBC NCL certificate must be issued between 1st of April 2024 up to 22nd of November 2024. UPSC does not entertain any certificates which do not conform to these two dates. If your certificate is issued prior to 1st of April 2024, it will not be accepted. On the other hand, if you had applied for a EWS certificate or applied for a OBC NCL certificate, but you did not have it physically in your possession, in other words, you do not have the serial number of the certificate which is having a date which is prior to 22nd of November, it will not be accepted, which means that you will have to change your category from OBC NCL or EWS to general category. The change in category is once provided for at the time of submission of the final DAF, which is before the conduct of your personality test. They give you the opportunity of changing your category from OBC NCL to general category or EWS to general category. Of course, it is subject to the condition that you are fulfilling the cutoff criteria for the general category, right. UPSC has been playing very strict on this issue during the last year. So, this year is not going to be any exception. So, make sure that the documents are issued within the time frame that has been given for the purpose. All right. So, that's about the major things that we wanted to cover today. Let me just take a look at the chat questions in case I have missed out anything. Adarsh Ranjan, yes sir, had indicated if the person wants to prepare for civil services, then obviously he will prefer to be in Delhi, right, and he would prefer to be in a job which is providing more of work life balance, and you can regulate your timing. That continues to hold good. In that case, the stores option is something which can be preferred over the IRMS civil option. See, end of the day, you cannot put IRMS of that particular branch in the technical stream very low down. So, therefore, you can give preference to IRMS stores for that particular branch of engineering for which you are preparing, and keep it at higher than the other options. All right. I hope Ashish, your question stands answered now. With it, ITR of last 3 years for OBC candidates. Yes, the ITR requirement for OBC candidates, the ITR of your parents is required to be submitted, right? That will be required to be uploaded when you are filling up the OBC annexure, and this should be for the financial years 23-24, 22-23 and 21-22, which means for the financial year which ended on 31st of March 2024, which ended on 31st March 23 and 31st March 22. Okay, these are the 3 ITRs which are required to be uploaded, and at the same time the average of the last 3 filed ITRs should be less than 8 lakhs for considering your eligibility for the EWS category. Okay. You just have to get, you see, your NCL certificate should be based on this criteria. You don't have to have the last 3 years NCL certificate. No, there is a mistake that you are making while interpreting it. All right. Railway employees get 3 years relaxation provided they have been confirmed. If they are in probation, they are not eligible for claiming the age relaxation. They should have been confirmed. They should not be temporary employees, but they should have been confirmed in the services, which means they must have completed 3 years of service as on 1st of January 2025. That is the stipulation. If you go through the application form, it is very categorically mentioned, but yes, you are right. In fact, in the annexure, in the notification that has been issued after the inclusion of the IRMS vacancies, they have added this option. They have added this option of eligible railway employees who are eligible to get the 3 years exemption. Aman George says, my father has passed away, so what should I fill in? You can say deceased, and you need not fill, you can fill the last designation of the service where he was working. Father is a government employee, then how much is the income limit for OBC NCL? With it, if your father is a government employee, but in group C or group D, then your income is not included at all for computing the income limit. In case he is a group B employee, but he got into group B after attaining the age of 40 years, once again income is not included for determining your eligibility. So, irrespective of the income for group C and group D and group B, in case it is after 40 years of age, income is not included for computing that 8 lakhs limit. Okay, that should be very clearly understood. About PSUs, now there is similar applicability for PSUs in case your parents are in non-executive cadre. Irrespective of what is the income, it will not be included for computing the 8 lakhs limit. But in case they are in an executive cadre, officer cadre, then the 8 lakhs limit will apply. The equivalent of group C, group D is the non-executive cadre, and the group B or above is the executive cadre. That is again given in when you go through the detailed notifications of the annexures or which have been mentioned in the ESE notifications. Sir, have uploaded railway format OBC. They are same. The format is same. There is no problem. This is another big question which a lot of people are asking. The format is different. Just make a comparison with the format which has been given by UPSC and the format in which your OBC NCL or EWS certificate has been issued. Just try to make a comparison. First of all, if your certificate is issued in Hindi, then it is acceptable without any change. Hindi and English are the accepted languages for the issue of OBC NCL and EWS certificates. However, if your certificate is in any other language other than Hindi and English, in that case you can get it translated by an authorized translator and get his signature, and that authorized translation copy into Hindi or into English will be accepted for uploading without any further act. But the only thing is that yes, the person who is doing the translation must be an authorized translator. He must be an approved translator, approved by the respective government for that particular language. ITS versus IRMS for ESE. Again, they are comparable. Some people prefer to go to ITS wanting to be a part of the telecom revolution, and some people want to go for the IRMS signal and telecom. Both are comparable, both are equally challenging, and both are technology driven. So, and both have sufficient progress promotion opportunities. So, they are comparable. It can be a matter of personal preference. You may want to prefer IRMS over ITS or ITS over IRMS, purely a matter of personal choice. Nishant, your question is not clear. Which income certificate? For general category candidates, there is no income certificate required. OBC creamy layer have to provide no certificates. No, not at all. Shubham, guide us for agriculture land related question. Okay. See, there is one question for OBC candidates where you have to mention, you have to give the reply related to whether the land holding is above the statutory ceiling or not. Now, this is a question which you'll have to, for which you have to find an answer yourself. Visit the website of the state government and within that the revenue department. For different districts, the land ceiling is applicable, and you will be able to get that information from this particular tab, that is the revenue department tab of your state government. It should be possible on a broad rule of thumb basis. If you want, 20 acres is applicable for every state. In some states, it is above 20 acres also for the irrigated land. Unirrigated land, I don't think there is any limit as far as land ceiling is concerned, but as far as the irrigated land is concerned, majority of the states have a minimum limit, statutory limit of 20 acres. So, in case the land holding by you is above 20 acres, don't apply for candidature as a NCL candidate. You are not likely to get that benefit. If it is 1 acre, 2 acres, it should not matter at all. IRMS stores or IRMS mechanical services, both have equally good opportunities for promotion. There is no problem. Railway store versus CPWD in civil. CPWD can be a field job, can be a design office job, that means planning and design, whereas railway stores will primarily be related to procurement. It again depends on your personal preference. You may want to prefer to go to railway stores, mainly office based job, whereas CES, that means CPWD, can be field related also. You can be posted to the field. If you are not posted to the design office or the planning office, then you can be responsible for the progress monitoring of the construction projects in progress. Diploma students who are having a lateral entry into degree are definitely eligible. Diploma students per se, Dheeraj, I am not very clear what is it that you want to ask. Want to change from from general to OBC NCL and got OBC NCL by Tahsildar, but I am worrying, should I change or not, because father's pension is less than 8 lakhs and pension plus interest is above 8 lakhs. See, if your father retired as a group C or a group D government officer, then the pension will not form a part of your income, if that is the case. Otherwise, if you are doing well, if you are well prepared, then just ignore the reservation benefit. How to calculate total income for general category? You don't have to worry about that at all. There are no restrictions. What you can do is you can write down the income which is appearing on the pay slip of your parents in case of the father's and mother's income, or your pay slip as if it is based on your employment. PSU jobs are semi government jobs, not 100% government jobs. Aishwarya, in case of OBC, it is always the income of your parents based on which the OBC certificate is issued, not based on the husband. Colorblind candidates, IRMS stores is the best possible option, and to a limited degree, IRMS stores is the best option, and to a limited degree, I don't think even Survey of India is permitting it, no. Age limit difference for IRMS engineering and IRMS stores, no, there is no difference at all, it's the same, it's the same. Colorblind, I have already replied. Myself from EC, writing exam in EC, can I choose mechanical services? No, you cannot. You have to choose the services under signal and telecom only, under the branch for which you are writing the paper. Sumer, if your father or mother, they are in group B, even before attaining the age of 40, you do not come under the NCL category. That is clearly excluded. It is very clearly specified in the list of exclusions. OBC in the central format, no, you don't have. Declaration is different from the certificate, by the way. See, there is a big confusion in the mind of some of the students. Declaration and the certificate, the two are two different documents. Declaration is a self-declaration, and EWS certificate is to be issued by the official designated signatory, which is Tehsildar or above. That is the major difference that you have to keep in mind. Okay. IDSC electrical colorblind people are not allowed, no. SC categorically state government ka caste certificate or central government? Obviously, it is central government, and more importantly, the caste which is mentioned in the certificate must be appearing in the list of the approved scheduled castes in the central government list. Riya Raj, you are a 2024 pass out, your final BTech degree has not been received by you. For the time being, what you can do is you can upload the provisional degree certificate that you have received from your college, and subsequently they will require the final degree certificate at the time of personality test. So, you still have about almost a year for that. No income certificate for 21, 22, 22, 23. Sanju, you will need to have to tell me what exactly is the income value. Okay. Now, what I will do is I will also, just a moment, I will also give you my email ID where you can write in case of any queries that you may be having, right. My email ID is dkarora@madeeasy.in. In case you have any specific queries, you please feel free to write giving the details so that I can reply to you in one go, rather than me having to keep on shuttling back and forth trying to get more information from you so that I can reply to your query. Okay. Gone through surgery for knee, for right leg, I don't think it will be a disqualification for you. I don't think it will be a disqualification for you. They are not going to make you run 6 kilometers, don't worry. IRMS field versus CPWD in civil engineering with respect to promotion and posting. I think railways will have higher promotion chances. It is a bigger cadre, much bigger cadre. As per notification, if our parents not join in group, it is not group A, it is group B, by the way. Please read the notification clearly. Please read the notification clearly, Sumer. Just make confirm before taking that plunge, because the notification which I had read very categorically stated that if your parents got into group B after before attaining the age of 40, then you are excluded from OBC NCL. You are not eligible for OBC NCL. Sanju, you can write your mail and be specific in your query, because your query is not clear. See, if you are in OBC NCL category and the occupation of your father is farmer, you do not require income certificate. All you have to do is get it from the village authorities, and that will be sufficient for you. English mandatory for interview, personality test, experience. Usually they permit you to reply questions in Hindi. Aryan, the present salary, present income is to be given as the present income, and for the purpose of the certificate determination, the OBC NCL criteria, it is the average of the last 3 years. The two are two different things. Is family property on the name, if it is in the name of your grandfather, as long as it is less than that, your share is less than 20 acres, it should not matter. Do we get remote location posting in CWC? For CWC, you can get posted to the Heidel projects, which means you can get postings in Jammu and Kashmir, you can get postings in some of the northeastern states, you can also get posted in Bhutan and some of the projects which we are doing for Nepal. So, these, if you consider them as remote postings, yes, there is a possibility. But CWC, it's a very congenial kind of environment for working. Do's and don'ts for hobbies and activities. Hobbies and activities, do not overstate your achievements. Don't write 10 hobbies. That is the only guideline which I can say. Don't write more than 2 or 3 hobbies. But anything that you do in your free time can be written as your hobby. Father is government job or private job, which to proceed? My father is PSU job. You write as PSU job, you write as government job. Yes, you can, because it is not private. Something which is not private is government. Eyesight range required is -6 diopters. The correction factor is -6 diopters. But ESE has also issued a notification that if your LASIK surgery is conducted more than 1 year prior to the date of your medical examination, of course subject to certain conditions, then LASIK surgery is permitted. Otherwise, it is not permitted. Otherwise, they will simply disqualify. Proof of date of birth of mother is not available and she is no more, simply write deceased, since deceased, not an issue. Skills development department, irrespective of which service that you are talking about, whether civil or electrical, it is primarily for developing skills related to that particular discipline. For example, when we talk about civil works, when we talk about civil engineering related skills development jobs, it can include the skills required to be developed in terms of, let's say, plumbers, in terms of masons, in terms of even surveyors for that matter, the non-qualified the survey assistants, etc. You could be engaged in setting up these skills development centers in various states. But in terms of postings, yes, it is primarily in the major cities only. It is not likely to be in remote locations. At best, you may be required to be visiting those remote locations where these skills development centers are set up. Okay. Undertaking format who are already in government jobs, because in state government we have confusion about undertaking. Mr. Traveling Queen, perhaps what you are talking about is the undertaking that you have to give, whether you have informed your employer. The requirement is identical for state services, central services and PSUs. They do not require NOC. Let me write, NOC is not required. You are required to inform your HOD. Okay, you are required to inform your HOD that you are applying for ESE It is just an intimation that you have to give to your HOD that you are applying for Engineering Services 2025 exam. That's all. You don't require a no objection certificate per se, because that again is being asked by a number of students. All right. UPSC conduct ESE in June every year. It is likely that they may revert to their original timetable, but that is something which will be a decision of UPSC, nobody else. 10th mark sheets have mentioned surname as first name. It does not matter, because that is the procedure, that is the norm in case of Maharashtra and some other states also. Sir, if I not upload the parent's PAN card, then is there any issue? It is suggested not to hide any information. That is all I can say. Address can vary. Address on your caste certificate and permanent address as you give in the form can be different. What to write in achievements? If you don't have any, you can leave it blank. There is no point in giving fake information. There is no reason why you should give any fake information. Abhinav, you will have to check whether in your place of issue, whether the circle officer is equivalent to Tahsildar or higher than him. That is something which you will have to check. Currently in my final year of graduation, will degree transcript be acceptance in case of provisional degree? Yes. See, as of now, you have only got the 6th semester's mark sheet. So, upload your 6th semester mark sheet, Yash, and that will be acceptable. There is no problem. Any batch details will be available on the website. Please remain in touch. Just wait for about a week or so. We will be giving the details of the courses which we are going to be conducting. Okay. Abhinav, if circle officer is equivalent to Tahsildar, then the EWS certificate signed by circle officer will be acceptable. Don't worry. Don't worry. Ninja V, it will not create any problem. Swarnim 2023 pass out, can I upload your provisional certificate? Yes, you can upload provisional certificate, but make sure that you have the final degree when you go for the personality test. They will not accept your provisional certificate at that time under any circumstances. They can only accept your provisional certificate only if you are a 2025 pass out, not if you are a 23 pass out. Group C employee working in railway more than 3 years will be eligible to apply in ESE? Yes, with the age extension, with the age relaxation. Hariom, that's the question that you, Hari Soni, that's the question you had. Skills development service can kept in above preference than naval aeronautical. You can, Ujjwal, you can, because it is going to be more of a, less of a side job, more of a office job, if that is the criteria with which you are having that preference. Let's not discuss about the increase in the age limit. OBC is already 33 years. OBC is already 33, not 30. Those who have already submitted the form, they can make corrections in the form once the correction window opens. I think you are already permitted to do the editing of the form, and I had stated right in the beginning, even the change of category is permitted, even the editing of the category is also permitted. So, please try it out before saying it is not being done. If your father does not file ITR, you can simply write not assessed. Yeah, the age relaxation certificate, yes, that is another question which some of you have. What is the certificate, what is the format of the certificate or document required to be uploaded in case you want to claim the age relaxation. The certificate that you require to upload for claiming the age relaxation is your OBC category certificate, OBC NCL category certificate, or your EWS category certificate, or your SC or your ST category certificate, or your PWD certificate. In case of the persons who are continuously working in the government service for the past 3 years or more, they have to submit the service certificate obtained from your organization, which will be proof of your the last 5 you have been working in that organization for the last 5 years. That's it. There is no separate format as such. They'll give you that so and so, they'll confirm the bona fides of the person who is wanting to claim the relaxation, that so and so who is working in CPWD or CES roads or whatever as junior engineer from a particular date till today. That will be the document which will be required to be submitted. Learner, the correction will have to be required. Correction will be required in case there are variations in the names. IRMS store versus CES for civil engineering, which is better for growth and promotional aspects. CES will be better for promotional aspects in comparison to stores in civil. OTR data cannot be changed, but the rest of the information is possible to be changed. Please check it out carefully. IRMS SNT versus IRMS stores for electronics engineer, they can be preferred interchangeably. There is no problem. Both are highly technical jobs. The difference is that IRMS signals and telecom will be more of a field related job, and IRMS stores will be more of a more of a regional office related opportunity. For claiming age relaxation, yes, you have to submit the service certificate. You should have completed 3 years as a permanent employee as on 1st of January 2025. If there is no ceiling on the land limit, irrigated land limit, simply write not applicable. Not applicable in our state. Working with MES, but is not a technical cadre. So even if it is not a technical cadre, you are working in military engineering service, or that you can write, you can try. You can put ID, application ID, OTR on the declaration. There is no problem. I have already stated it. Okay. IRMS store electrical is less preferred in comparison to IRMS electrical. That is what I would say. And at times some of you might want to prefer CPSE, Central Power Engineering Services, in case you want to spend more of your time in Delhi. That's only under that condition. If your father does not file ITR, simply say not assessed, and the EWS certificate will have to be issued by the competent authority based on the declaration, which will be required to be, you will have to satisfy the issuing authority to that effect, right? Okay. I think hopefully most of the questions have been answered. In case there are still some questions left, you can always write to my email ID dkarora@madez.in. You will get the response to each and every query that you send, but the only request is send a complete query rather than me having to ask you again and again for filling up the information which is required before I submit the answer to you. All right. Best wishes, prepare well, work hard and get successful. Best of luck.